Hello, everyone. This time, we are going to continue with the previous video. Owen Schrodinger's view of the world in a vacuum. Schrödinger, Werner Heisenberg, Hugh Everett, Stephen Hawking, Albert Einstein. The world of vacuity as seen by these people and the one as seen by the Buddha, Tathagata. I would like to talk about the difference between these two worlds of vacuity. Everett, Heisenberg, Schrödinger, Stephen Hawking, Einstein, Niels Bohr. These people are also liberated from their desires, but that's the 8th dimension level. These physicists are looking at the state of the first nothingness. Their selves have disappeared and they have become arhats, but because they don't have the Lotus Sutra, they have not been able to participate in the meeting in the space. At this point, they have not been able to participate in the gathering in which arhats can participate, but they have passed through the first gate. These physicists can only see the world where ego exists, even though they themselves no longer have an ego with worldly desires. Schrödinger said, there is nothing in the 8th dimension. This nothingness is the state where all things are gathered together. But Heisenberg said, if there was nothing there, you wouldn't have the perspective to observe it from. Mr. Schrödinger, I understand what you are saying, but then there is no observer and no observed. In such a situation, there is no physics, is there? In other words, Heisenberg says, a person cannot exist unless he or she is positioned somewhere in the vacuity. The position is the point. The position that arhats are looking from are their selves. An ego, its physical body, and planets come to exist in the vastness of the universe. In the planets, the living environments are set up, and time flows from the past to the future. Then, the point where many societies come to exist is when, I believe, that physics can exist. Time flows from the past to the future. And in that universe, there are distances among planets, and also distances between human bodies. So, there is a relative world. Now, let's take a look more deeply. So what in the world are we made of? If you look at it smaller and smaller, such as the nucleus, which is a quantum mass, the universe is made of quanta. Each of us is an embodiment of electrical impulses, an electromagnetic force, and this is how we see it. But even an arahat who has passed through the first gate cannot see the correct cosmic image. This is because at the center of him is the self, the ego. In the case of the cosmic vision of the Tathagata that the Buddha talks about, the center is not ego, but the state of being liberated and no longer ego, nothing anymore. This is the state of nothingness that Schrödinger described. In other words, nothing is actually all the information that's being gathered. However, when you are in this state of nothingness for arhats, what is at the center of it is not your physical ego, but the Juki of becoming a Tathagata received from a Tathagata. I repeat, that is the Juki. When you become liberated and are in the state of nothingness, then the Tathagata can give you the Juki. He'll tell you to make a big bang and be reborn as yourself in that universe, and in that universe, spread the Lotus Sutra to others, because the Lotus Sutra spreads into a situation of relativity. When a Bodhisattva who received the Tathagata's Juki, for example, Wonder-Sound Bodhisattva, Gadjadasvara, is born in the 3rd dimensional world, he has a physical body there. Even if he has the flesh, the state of being nothing is completely ingrained in him. When he received the Juki, he was told, read the Lotus Sutra, so, he is led to do so in this world. If he has read the sutra in his previous life, he can read it. I am nothingness. At the center of my Lotus Sutra, Shakyamuni Buddha is, being given the Juki from Shakyamuni Buddha. I was born into this world causing a big bang. He can understand this. This is the cosmic thought of someone who has gone under the 2nd gate. Even if he was born with a body, he doesn't have a self. So when he reads the Lotus Sutra, he will say, in the past, I was given the Juki by Shakyamuni Buddha to make a big bang and be born in this world. Being ordered to expound the Lotus Sutra, I created this imaginary world and was born in it with this body. There is no such thing as a self even if he has a physical body. That's why he can feel a Tathagata is at the center of his vacuity when he reads the Lotus Sutra. Furthermore, as described in the chapter of Wonder-Sound Bodhisattva, if you are already a Tathagata who has received the Juki, then you got that from a Tathagata before Shakyamuni Buddha. It was not by Shakyamuni Buddha Tathagata, but by the king of the sound of the thunder in the clouds Buddha who had become a Buddha before Shakyamuni who had given Bodhisattva his Juki. So, in previous life, you caused a Big Bang repeatedly, and each time had a physical body. You read a Lotus Sutra of the Tathagata of every world. So this time, you read the Lotus Sutra of Shakyamuni Buddha. When you read the Lotus Sutra, you learn that he had gifted the Juki from king of the sound of the thunder in the clouds Buddha. And you came to this world to do the Bodhisattva's deeds many times. Then, after coming to this world again, reading Lotus Sutra of Shakyamuni Buddha, you became aware that the center of his vacuity was this three-dimensional world, where Shakyamuni Buddha lived, and was giving his Juki. Then, you noticed that he would go to the latest stage of Shakyamuni Buddha's Dharma in your next lifetime and become a Tathagata. You would create your own new Lotus Sutra, take disciples, and give them the Juki, which would cause Big Bangs. So then, you would initiate Big Bangs to happen all over the numberless universes by giving your Juki. Now about the disciples, even though they have a physical body in that reborn world, they have no self, so they read the Lotus Sutra that you had left behind, and they will come to understand it. See, you could have been a Tathagata in the past. In that past world, the disciples who read your Lotus Sutra and receive the Juki, can be here in this world. Do you understand all of this? What I've said so far, the view of the universe that Schrödinger referred to is that of Arhats. Schrödinger, Niels Bohr, and Heisenberg went through the first gate tentatively. Even though they passed under the first gate, became Arhats, and threw away their selves, they did not go through the second gate of becoming believers of the Lotus Sutra. Without passing through this gate, they are only aware of things which are extant in this universe. So, at the center of their vacuities the egos of themselves still remain. If you look at this thing called outer space from the ego-centered point of view, this world is filled with many relative objects. Even if you die and return to the quantum state, yourself will still be present, so you can go back in time, or your ego can go back in time, or fly in the sky, or whatever. Even if you go to any world imaginable, it's still the other side of the known world, and it's a world that your ego has created. So unless you are really spiritually enlightened and go through the second gate of becoming a believer of the Lotus Sutra, you cannot be cognizant of the world told to us by the Lotus Sutra. Spiritual enlightenment is the first gate. Physicists like Schrödinger attained enlightenment, but they couldn't know about the second gate of the Lotus Sutra. They didn't receive the Juki. They were not able to enter the second gate. Therefore, even after reincarnation, their center will always be themselves. Even in their afterlife, they will still be themselves. Conversely, for one the sound Bodhisattva and the other super Bodhisattvas who believe in the Lotus Sutra, who have passed through the second gate, Shakyamuni Buddha or the other Tathagata is at the center of their mind when they are reborn by their own power. When you read the Lotus Sutra, you can understand that a Tathagata exists. Oh, I see. I'm in absolute vacuity with no substance or other thing, but I came to this world with a Big Bang, and at the center of myself is a Tathagata, who gave me the Juki. You realize this, and then, you realize that you are going to spread this Lotus Sutra with a virtual ego in this virtual world, in that you are spreading it in that world of virtual humans. That's the difference between the first gate and the second gate. So those who haven't gone through the first gate, those who haven't even become Arhats, they don't even understand physics. So, for these people, there is only one three-dimensional world. When they exhaust their lifespan, they think I will die and that's all, or I'll go to another world somewhere. They don't even understand the laws of this world, that of the other world, nor physics. So, in conclusion, those people believe that there is a God somewhere in the sky, and that we humans are here because he created this three-dimensional world. That's the worldview of Okawa-san, a cult founder in the Showa era, isn't it? He says, there is a God somewhere in the sky, and he has made this three-dimensional world. If that's the truth, there's no need for Tathagatas and Bodhisattvas. Do you understand this? This is the worldview of those who haven't passed through the first gate. And next, according to the view of Arhats and those physicists like Heisenberg, Schrödinger, Einstein, and Stephen Hawking, who did pass the first gate, there still has to be a self in center to understand the universe. This is physics. Wondrous sound Bodhisattva and the other super Bodhisattvas, who went through the second gate, are reborn by themselves because they received the Juki. Then, because they have no self, even if they have physical bodies, when they read the Lotus Sutra, they can realize that they are just absolute vacuities. They were reborn into this world with a Big Bang at the command of Tathagatas. Now being in this world, they use virtual images and see other people to expound the Lotus Sutra. Then they will let all these people enter the gate of the Lotus Sutra and liberate them spiritually, so that they too can become Bodhisattvas who will make their Big Bangs, and then they will create the future Buddhas. And these infinite numbers of future Buddhas and also the Bodhisattvas spreading the Lotus Sutra will come to exist, along with Tathagatas who gave their Juki. Things are without an end. Juki, and lands of Buddhas in perfect vacuities. The next phenomenon is the self in a virtual image that was born from the samadhi of appearing in any physical forms, and the other people in a virtual image, who will be turned into Bodhisattvas and reborn. Then they will all become future Buddhas, an infinite number of future Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, an infinite number of Tathagatas who have given innumerable Juki. This relationship exists. Those who have passed through the second gate will be able to establish this relationship. After all, the third gate is to completely understand the Lotus Sutra and be the one to give Juki. So, it means that the ultimate goal is to become Tathagatas. In the end of Wondrous Sound Bodhisattva chapter, it's written that he is at the step immediately before becoming a Tathagata in his next rebirth. When he attains a liberation and enlightenment in his next rebirth, he becomes a Tathagata. It is the awakening of Tathagata when one realizes that he needs to become a Tathagata to give the Juki. It is the third gate. To take a disciple and liberate him, to create vacuity and grant his Juki there. This is the ultimate stage of liberation. From there, infinite numbers of Bodhisattvas and Tathagatas as your own other offspring, and furthermore, infinite numbers of future Buddhas in the lineages. As soon as this freely connected world is born, the Bodhisattvas in that world become Tathagatas everywhere. Furthermore, by giving so many Juki, infinite and flexibly interrelated worlds are created, and an infinite world is completed. Do you understand what that means? Can you envision these 4 stages? 1. The first gate. This is about becoming an arhat. But if you have just become that, you don't fully cast aside who you are. So all you get is a view of the universe based on physics. 2. The second gate, to believe in the Lotus Sutra, to become nothing and receive a Juki. Then you can create a Big Bang at your will. No matter what kind of world you are in, you will realize the Lotus Sutra, and you can attain the samadhi of Dharma flower, like the Wondrous Sound Bodhisattva. In that world, when you become aware of the Lotus Sutra, you will say, oh, I'm no longer myself. I'm nothing, and the center of myself is the Juki from my Tathagata. Because I received it, I was born causing a Big Bang. This is written in chapter 10, Teachers of the Dharma. So, you need to be reborn many times to become a Tathagata. 3. It is the third gate when you realize that you have to become a Tathagata and give Juki. 4. When you have attained the life of a Tathagata and give your last Juki, the fourth gate will be completed. When it is accomplished, you will be in the ultimate enlightenment. The 4 steps of emancipation are these gates. A person who cannot even get through the first gate does not understand physics. And that is the case with gods of Shintoism, Japanese gods of Shinto. Also Yahweh's Old Testament world is in this realm. Even after entering the world that such as they live in, who caused its Big Bang has not been revealed. It is not expounded that a Tathagata generated it. This is the characteristic of people who believe in ethnic religions or those who have not been able to pass through the first gate. Well, do you understand it so far, about the first gate to the fourth gate, those who cannot go through the gates? That's all for today. Thank you.